Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Untethered Soul, chapter 4 by Michael A. Singer. Buy the book, okay? The link is in the description. I don't make no money from it. It's just an Amazon link. I hope you guys support this book because I believe that it is so powerful and has had a dramatic impact on my life. And so we've been talking about the lucid self and being aware of awareness and the different levels of consciousness and how it is that comes into play. But, you know, if you guys need to catch up, there's some other videos. Go catch up on those videos because I've been talking about this for the past couple months now. Love this shit, okay? So now this next paragraph, whoa, okay. Let's look at your inner show. You have an underlying pattern of thoughts that goes on around you all the time. This pattern of thoughts stays pretty much the same. You are as familiar and comfortable with your normal thought patterns as you are with the living space of your home. You also have emotions that are your norm, a certain amount of fear, a certain amount of love, and a certain amount of insecurity. You know that if certain things happen, one or more of these emotions will flare up and dominate your awareness. Then eventually they will settle back down to the norm. You know this so well that you are very busy inside making sure nothing happens to create these disturbances. In fact, you are so preoccupied with controlling your world of thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations that you don't even know you're in there. That is a normal state for most people. What a beautiful way to talk about your programming. You are programmed. That is a fact. That is a fun fact. And when I read this, something clicked for me, is that yes, I am programmed. I have a certain time I get up, a certain time I go to bed, I wear certain clothes, I dress a certain way, I talk a certain way, I enjoy certain things, I don't enjoy certain. It's almost like a computer program. It's like, you know, you could pretty much predict what I'm going to do, what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to say, that with very limited variability. Like, yeah, there are moments of spontaneity, but that's also programmed in there. Is that I am semi-spontaneous. And that right there is what's crazy, is that even the spontaneity could be viewed as a form of programming. There are people who allow for everything and anything to be spontaneous, but also that is a form of programming. That is a form of like, hey, you will not have any sort of boundaries in terms of when you set schedules, when you do this, when you do that, how you organize this, how you do that. And that is a form of programming too. So no matter what, you're abiding by the rules of your program. Because imagine if you were somebody who lived their life and absolutely was like, oh, I'm absolutely free, flower child, to do whatever, go with the flow. And then one day you woke up and somebody was like, no, you have to follow this schedule. You have to eat these meals. You have to wear these clothes. Like, you would hate that. Conversely, you're somebody who lives by spreadsheets, calendars, and making everything into little regimented boxes. And then they're like, hey, there's no fucking rules. And you're just like, oh my God, I fucking hate this. Because you're operating off of a program. Now, is a program bad? No, a program is a way that we work and interact within a construct, whether it's our own psyche, whether it's our family, whether it's friends, whether it's work, whether it's, you know, hobbies or whatever it is, you know, even sociologically, like as a woman, as a mother, as somebody who lives in New England, as somebody who lives in the United States, as somebody who looks the way that I do, who has brown hair. So there's a lot of different layers, not a little bit, there's a lot of different layers to which the programming actually happens within you. And that programming is going to keep you in this sort of loop and habit. So how do you break out of that? Well, there's many different ways that you can break out of the programming. And that, for me, a lot of it has to do with self-reflection and going deep and doing the shadow work within, okay? So most of this book is talking about how to do that. So I'm gonna leave it up to you to actually read the book to start learning how to deprogram yourself. But that's what this is talking about, is that you're running a program that's basically dictating what is happening and what the boundaries are. So, for instance, let's say that one day my husband were to come home and say, I'm a vegan. I'd be like, okay, that's fine, that's weird. No more meat in the house. No, I would have a problem with that. That would be a problem, right? So I particularly tried to find a partner who would not be vegan. Somebody who had the same values as I did, because I would not want to live in a way that was not conducive to how I live my own life, right? Now, that's an extreme example. But here's another example, right? Is, let's say now all of a sudden my, what's a good example? Okay, so now my husband comes home and says, hey, I'm working third shift now. Okay, so now not only do I not get to see you, but like, what the fuck? Like, you didn't even talk to me. You didn't have these things. Like, I wanted somebody who was going to be communicative, somebody who was going to have a similar lifestyle as me so that I could spend time with them, somebody who wanted to spend time with me. But now all of a sudden he's changing the rules, and that brings up something that bothers me, right? So here's the other piece to it, right, is I have my own trauma, right? So in arguments, I do not appreciate somebody raising their voice, okay? Now, let's say that my husband and I, we get into an argument and he raises his voice, okay? That will bring up old pains, old traumas, old things, and I have fought tooth and nail to never have to relive that. So I would be like, no, this is not okay. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm going to leave, because I'm protecting myself from reliving those past hurts, those pains, or whatever, okay? Other issues, maybe I have abandonment issues. I don't want somebody who's gonna flake on me for a date. I don't want somebody, all these different things that I set up as rules that people who surround me need to meet the criteria so that I don't have to feel the pain of abandonment, yelling, cheating, hitting, or anything like that. Like, I don't want to be feeling those pains. So I set up the interactions, friendships, the relationships, my coworkers, so that I get to interact in a certain way so that I don't have to feel those negative feelings that I have inside of me. Now, the good thing about that is that it's there to protect me. It's there to make me feel like, hey, this is my world. I'm safe, and it makes me feel safe so that I can operate on a day-to-day. I can create, I can do, and I'm free from that. But the flip side of that is, because I haven't addressed that programming, I will always be hurt by that. I will always be hurt. Like, if somebody, let's say somebody were to yell at me, like, if I had that trauma about somebody yelling at me, right? And, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm never going to talk to you ever again. Period. Done. Now, let's say I had addressed it in my life and somebody yelled at me, and I'd be like, hey, dude, what's going on? Like, that's not okay. Let's talk about it. There would be a different way to address it. Now, it's different if somebody continuously abuses you. Obviously, you tell them, fuck off, because that nobody should have to endure that. But if somebody were to, just be having a bad day and they just kind of snapped or snipped a bit, like, I wouldn't have this emotional blow up to this, and my program would be kicking into hyper gear to be like, no, we don't do this. That's it. Kick them out. The end. Rather than being like, hey, let's explore this, because they're not touching a deep-seated wound that I have. They're touching a boundary that I have for sure, but I can rationally and calmly engage with it. So that's where your programming comes in. And a lot of programming is there to keep you safe, but sometimes your programming is there to keep out things that you actually want without even recognizing it. And that, my friends, is why there is a lot of people who try to be successful but can't, because they're running on these programs that they don't even know that they've had from when they were a child, from experiences, from society, from all these different ways that they're getting these self-limiting beliefs. These programs that are running in them, they don't realize it, and so they are where they are. Okay, guys, that's it for me today. Buy the book, go to the library, whatever it is, support the book though. It's The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. I'm going to put a link in the description. I don't get paid from it. It's just an Amazon link. I've also put the link to my book, which I do make money from, which is about journaling, which has been absolutely transformative in my journey. It's about journaling, and I give you tips and tricks on how to do it, different techniques. I'm also going to put a link to my podcast, because then you guys can hear more about me and my crazy. Okay, love you guys.